Just a quick reminder before we get into the lesson to download the hands-on lab exercises that accompany this complete CCNA course. I'll include the link in the description. Also remember to subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you don't miss any of the lessons in the course. Okay, let's get into it. In this lecture, you'll learn how to do a basic configuration of single area Ospf in the lab. So this is our topology. The same as usual, we've got our 5 routers R1 to R5, and all of the router interfaces are in IP subnets beginning with number 10. And what we're going to do here is enable Ospf routing on all the different routers for those internal networks and then verify that it's working. So it's going to be the same config, can get pasted into all of the routers. So I'll save some time by doing it in WordPad first, and then I can copy and paste it in. So I'll open up WordPad and I'll say router Ospf 1, and then network is 10.0.0.0.255.255.255. So that will cover me for all the interfaces. They just have to begin with a 10, which is all of them. And then I also need to specify the area. We're just doing single area Ospf for a small network. So in that case, we use area 0. And I'll put in config T at the top to save me having to type that in every time as well. So I will select all this and copy, and then go onto my routers. So R1 first, I'll paste it in there, R2, R3, R4, and R5. So that's all there is to it, to do a simple configuration for Ospf. Let's verify it now. So I'll go back onto R1. To check your Ospf configuration, you can do a show run and then pipe it to section Ospf, and it'll show all the Ospf commands in our running config. Next thing to do is check the routing protocols that are running on this router. So I'll do a show IP protocols, and I can see that I'm just running Ospf, it's process 1, and I'm routing for the 10 networks. I don't have any routing information sources yet. That's because the adjacencies hadn't formed yet, and I can just see in the log now that an adjacency has come up there. Usually what I'll do is the first command after doing the configuration is a show IP Ospf neighbors, and there I can see that the adjacency has come up with R5, and it's also come up with R2 as well. The next thing I would do would be a show IP route and check that I've got Ospf routes in the routing table, and I can see that my router has learned about all of the other networks. Now, another command you can use is show IP Ospf database. This is usually just used for troubleshooting. So say you've set up Ospf, put in those commands, show IP Ospf neighbor and show IP route. Check that Ospf routes are in there and you're seeing the routes that you expected and that it's using the paths you expected as well. If the Ospf adjacency doesn't come up, there's no point in checking the routing table or the database. If the adjacency isn't there, then it's not going to be receiving any routes. But if the adjacency comes up, but you're not seeing any routes in the routing table from Ospf, or you're not seeing the expected paths, then you would do some more detailed troubleshooting. The first command to use would be show IP Ospf database and check to see if the routes have actually been received or not. Some other verification commands that we can use are show IP Ospf interface brief. This will show us the interfaces that Ospf has been enabled on, the process ID, the area, and if any neighbors are reachable on that interface. Okay, so that was it. Pretty simple. That's our basic Ospf configuration. See you in the next lecture where we'll get into some more advanced topics. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to get the complete course ad-free right now, then you can enroll in my CCNA Gold Bootcamp by clicking the link above my head or in the description. It also includes full study notes, quizzes, and 150 pages of additional troubleshooting labs you can't find anywhere else.